What if the plants you pull out of your garden every weekend, the ones growing between the sidewalk cracks, the ones you have stepped over 1,000 times without a second glance, were actually some of the most trusted healing plants in human history? Most people spend their whole lives pulling these plants out of the ground and throwing them away. But for generations before us, these exact same weeds were the first thing reached for when someone got a cut, an upset stomach, or a sleepless night. They never stopped growing. We just stopped noticing them. Today, I am showing you 18 of these overlooked plants. Stick around, because number 12 carries a name so direct about what it does that you will wonder why nobody ever told you about it sooner. And number 17 is a tiny weed with a heart-shaped seed pod that healers once relied on constantly, despite its almost invisible size. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we bring you real traditional healing every single week. Let's get into it. Here are 18 healing plants growing in your backyard you walk past every day, ranked from powerful to truly extraordinary. 1. Dandelion, the weed everyone pulls but should keep. Every single part of the dandelion, from its bright yellow flower to its long taproot, has been used across Europe for centuries to support digestion and the liver's natural work. Even children once blew its seed heads for fun, never realizing the plant beneath their feet was quietly considered medicine. Roast dandelion root and brew it like coffee, or add fresh young leaves to a salad. 2. Plantain, the lawn weed ancient cultures called nature's band-aid. Not related to the banana-like fruit of the same name, this broad-leafed lawn weed has been crushed and applied directly to cuts, stings, and scrapes across cultures for thousands of years. It grows so readily in disturbed soil that it often appeared wherever people settled, earning it another old nickname, white man's footprint. Crush a fresh plantain leaf until it releases its juice and press it directly onto the skin. 3. Purslane, the weed that is secretly a superfood. This low-growing, succulent-leafed plant grows freely in gardens worldwide and was once deliberately cultivated as food, long before modern gardeners began pulling it out without a second thought. Toss fresh purslane leaves into a salad in place of lettuce. 4. Red clover, the common lawn flower with an old healing reputation. The small purple-pink flowers scattered across almost every lawn have been dried and brewed into tea across Europe for generations. Trusted as a gentle everyday tonic. Steep dried red clover flowers in hot water for 10 minutes. Chickweed, the garden weed that soothes skin. This delicate, sprawling little weed has been used across Europe for centuries. Crushed into a cooling paste applied directly to irritated or itchy skin. Crush fresh chickweed and apply the paste directly to the affected area. 6. Yarrow, the roadside plant that stopped bleeding on ancient battlefields. Yarrow's feathery leaves have been packed directly onto wounds since ancient times, so trusted on battlefields that it earned the nickname soldier's woundwort in several old European traditions. Its scientific name even traces back to Achilles, the legendary warrior said to have used it on his soldiers' injuries. Crush fresh yarrow leaves and press them gently onto a minor cut. 7. Mullein, the tall roadside weed for aching lungs. This tall, fuzzy-leafed plant growing along roadsides and empty lots has been smoked and brewed into tea across Europe and North America for generations. Trusted specifically to soothe the lungs and ease coughing. Steep dried mullein leaves in hot water and strain carefully through a fine cloth. 8. Wild violet, the lawn weed you can actually eat. The small purple flowers scattered through shaded lawns each spring have been eaten and used in tea across Europe for centuries, valued for their soothing effect on a sore throat. Steep fresh wild violet leaves and flowers in hot water for a mild soothing tea. 9. Burdock, the sticky weed with a deep root of healing. Best known for the burrs that stick to clothing and pet fur, this plant's long root has been used across Europe and Asia for centuries to support the skin and the body's natural detox process. The very burrs that make it a nuisance in the yard are the same seed pods that gave the plant its spreading worldwide reach. Simmer sliced burdock root in water for a deep, earthy tea. 10. Chicory, the blue roadside flower with a hidden purpose. The bright blue flowers seen along roadsides and empty fields belong to a plant whose root has been roasted and brewed as a coffee substitute across Europe for generations, quietly supporting digestion with every cup. Roast chicory root and brew it just like coffee. 11. Cleavers, the clingy weed nobody realizes is medicine. This sprawling plant, known for how its tiny hooked hairs cling to clothing and skin, has been used across Europe for centuries as a gentle tonic, brewed fresh into a mild tea. Steep fresh cleavers in cold water overnight for the gentlest results. 12. Self-heal, the weed literally named for healing. This is the plant I mentioned. Growing low across lawns and meadows with small purple flower spikes, this plant earned its very name centuries ago across Europe for its long-trusted reputation in treating everyday cuts and sore throats. It is easy to walk right past, since it rarely grows taller than a few inches among the grass. Crush fresh self-heal leaves and apply directly to minor cuts, or steep the plant in hot water as a tea. 13. Wood sorrel, the tangy little weed hiding in your lawn, often mistaken for clover because of its heart-shaped leaves. This tart, lemony little plant has been chewed fresh across many cultures for centuries to quench thirst and settle the stomach on long walks. Eat wood sorrel leaves fresh, straight from the plant in small amounts. 14. Ground ivy, the creeping weed gardeners fight without knowing its past. This low-spreading vine with small, purple flowers, often fought by gardeners trying to keep a tidy lawn, was once brewed into tea across Europe for centuries to ease coughs and support the lungs. Steep fresh ground ivy leaves in hot water for a mild minty tea. Lamb's quarters, the garden weed more nutritious than spinach. This tall, dusty green weed sprouting in vegetable gardens everywhere has been eaten across many cultures for centuries as a leafy green, its nutrient density genuinely rivaling that of cultivated spinach. Steam or sauté young lamb's quarters leaves just as you would spinach. 16. Purple dead nettle, the weed that looks dangerous but isn't. Despite its name and its resemblance to stinging nettle, this common early spring lawn weed carries no sting at all, and it has been used across Europe for generations as a gentle spring tonic. Add fresh purple dead nettle leaves to a salad or steep them as tea. 17. Shepherd's purse, the tiny weed with a big traditional reputation. This is the weed I mentioned. Named for its small, heart-shaped seed pods that resemble an old-fashioned purse, this unassuming little plant has been used across Europe and Asia for centuries, trusted by traditional healers far more than its tiny, easily overlooked size would ever suggest. It often grows unnoticed at the edge of sidewalks and garden beds, easily mistaken for nothing more than ordinary grass. Steep dried shepherd's purse in hot water for a mild tea. 18. Common mallow, the backyard weed that closes the circle. We close with common mallow, a soft, round-leafed weed that has been used across Europe for centuries to soothe an irritated throat and stomach, working in the same forgotten spirit as dandelion, the very first plant on this list. It often grows quietly along fences and walls, its soft leaves rubbed between fingers by generations of children who never knew its history. From a bright yellow flower to a soft round leaf, these 18 plants prove that some of the most trusted healing in human history has been growing quietly under our feet the entire time. Steep fresh mallow leaves in hot water for a mild, soothing tea. That is 18 plants growing in lawns, sidewalk cracks, and garden beds all over the world, trusted for generations before anyone thought to call them weeds. Ordinary, overlooked, and quietly powerful the entire time. A quick word of caution. Always properly identify any wild plant before using it, since some healing plants have lookalikes that are not safe to use. The healing was never far away. Now you know exactly where to look, right outside your own door.